There's a game being played around you right now. Every conversation, every text message, every favor asked. And you're losing because you didn't even know the rules existed. The people who understand these laws don't advertise them. They use them. If you want to see what they see, to move through the world with the same calculated precision, you need to train your mind differently. You were raised in a fantasy world, a world where fairness matters, where hard work gets rewarded, where good intentions protect you. That's not the real world. That's the story they told you to keep you compliant. The real world operates on leverage, perception, and strategic positioning. Machiavelli understood this 5 centuries ago when he wrote that rulers must learn how not to be good. Not because morality doesn't exist, but because those who only play by the rules of morality get crushed by those who understand power. In the next 15 minutes, you're going to learn 5 laws of dark intelligence. These aren't tricks. These are the operating principles of how human systems actually function. How social hierarchies form, how influence gets distributed, how people gain control without ever raising their voice. This is pattern recognition at the highest level, and once you see these patterns, you can never unsee them. Before we start, I want you to do something. Think of one moment where you played by all the rules, did everything right, and still got punished for it. Drop it in the comments. Then type this: I'm ready to see the truth. Because what comes next will change how you interpret every social interaction for the rest of your life. Number 1. Emotional opacity is power. Here's the trap. You think honesty builds trust. You think vulnerability creates connection. You think showing your feelings makes you authentic. That's not connection. That's exposure. Every time you broadcast your emotional state, you hand someone a remote control to your nervous system. When they know what makes you angry, what makes you sad, what makes you anxious, they know exactly which buttons to push. Robert Greene studied power dynamics across 3,000 years of history. One pattern repeats endlessly. The person who controls their emotional display controls the interaction. Think about your last argument. Who won? The person screaming or the person who stayed calm? The one who got triggered or the one who simply observed? In the real world, emotion is information leakage. When your coworker knows you're desperate for this promotion, they leverage it. When your ex knows you're still hurt, they exploit it. When your friends know your insecurity about money, about relationships, about status, they either weaponize it or accidentally trigger it. The most dangerous person in any room is the one whose face reveals nothing. Not because they don't feel, they feel everything. The difference is they've decoupled their internal experience from their external presentation. Jung called this the persona, but understood as strategic architecture. Watch how people negotiate on dating apps. The person who texts back immediately shows their hand. They're available, they're interested, they're controllable. But the person who waits 3 hours? They've created uncertainty. That uncertainty makes them valuable because scarcity triggers desire. Your brain is wired to seek validation. Every time you show emotion, you're unconsciously asking, how should I feel about this? You're outsourcing your internal state to external reaction. Dark intelligence means you stop asking. Notice who in your life asks, "Are you mad at me?" constantly. That's someone who needs your emotional feedback to stabilize. Now notice who never asks. That's someone operating from a secure internal frame. When something triggers you, before you respond, breathe 3 times, not to calm down, to create strategic space, Let them wonder what you're thinking. Uncertainty is leverage. This week, when someone tries to provoke a reaction, respond with neutral observation. If they insult you, interesting perspective. If they test you, I'll think about that. Watch how it changes the power dynamic. Drop this in the comments if you're ready to weaponize your calm. My silence is my shield. Number 2, attention is currency, not connection. The illusion is that attention means you matter. Likes, comments, replies, views, you think that's connection. It's addiction. Cialdini's research on influence proves that humans will do irrational things to maintain attention flow once they're hooked. We're not social creatures seeking genuine bonds. We're validation-seeking machines running on intermittent reinforcement schedules. Every notification hits your brain like a microdose of cocaine. You check your phone 150 times per day, not because you need information, but because you're chasing the possibility of mattering to someone. The people who have the most power give the least attention. Look at how celebrities operate. They post once, then disappear. Scarcity. Your friend who's constantly available? Low value. The person who's always busy? Everyone wants their time. Think about your group chat. There's always one person who responds immediately to everything. That person has the least social leverage. Then there's the person who reads everything but only responds to what matters. Everyone wonders what they're thinking. That person controls the frame. Your attention is the only resource you truly own. When you give it freely, you're announcing that your time has no value. When you withhold it strategically, you force others to earn it. Status psychology. We assign value based on scarcity. The hiring manager who's too busy to see you for 2 weeks seems more important than the one who says, "Come in tomorrow." Audit your attention. For 1 day, track where your eyes go. Phone, 3 hours. Scrolling, 2 hours. Worrying about what someone thinks, 30 minutes. That's 5.5 hours you just donated to things that don't build your empire. Become strategically unavailable. Don't respond to texts immediately. Don't attend every event. Don't like every post. Your absence will create more curiosity than your presence ever did. Turn off all phone notifications except calls. Watch how much power you get back when you decide when to engage instead of being summoned by every ping. If you're reclaiming your attention economy, comment, "I controlled the signal." Number 3, strategic unpredictability creates respect. You're too easy to read. People know your schedule, your habits, your reactions. Predictability is weakness. When someone knows exactly how you'll respond, you're not a person to them, you're a vending machine. They put in a stimulus, they get an output. Machiavelli warned that rulers who become too routine get overthrown. Why? Because predictability allows others to plan around you, to manipulate you, to neutralize you. You think consistency means reliability. It does. But it also means you're manageable. Your manager knows if they dump extra work on you at 4:45 p.m. on Friday, you'll say yes because you're a team player. That's not teamwork. That's exploitation of your predictable people-pleasing response. Or your friend who always forgets their wallet because they know you'll cover it. They're not forgetful. They're reading your pattern and using it. Humans are prediction machines. We feel safe around patterns. When you break the pattern, you trigger uncertainty. Uncertainty demands attention. Attention equals power. If someone can finish your sentences, predict your mood, or tell you what you're going to say before you say it, you've leaked all your strategic advantage. Controlled variability. Sometimes you're the first one in the office. Sometimes you're the last. Sometimes you respond instantly. Sometimes you don't respond for days. Sometimes you're generous. Sometimes you're ice cold. Not random, calculated. Pick one routine everyone expects from you and break it. If you always say yes, say no. If you always accommodate, be unavailable. Watch how it recalibrates their perception of you. If you're becoming unpredictable by design, drop. They can't map what they can't predict. Number 4. Isolation is incubation, not punishment. They tell you loneliness is dangerous. They say you need community, support, constant social contact. Every major transformation happens in isolation. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Meditations alone." Nietzsche developed his philosophy in solitude. Every breakthrough you've ever had came when you stopped listening to outside voices and started listening to the signal inside. You think isolation means you're broken. You think if you're not constantly surrounded by people, something's wrong with you. That's conditioning. Social media trained you to fear being alone because alone, you might think. And thinking leads to questions. Questions lead to change. Change disrupts the system. Everyone talks about self-care while staying plugged into group chats 24/7. Real self-work requires withdrawal. Delete the apps for a week. Stop attending every hangout. Watch who gets uncomfortable. Those people were using your presence to avoid their own emptiness. Your mind is a receiver. When you're constantly around others, you're picking up their frequency, their anxieties, their limitations. You start thinking their thoughts. Isolation allows you to tune into your own signal. Psychological research on deliberate practice shows that mastery requires solitary focus. You can't build a fortress while hosting a party. If being alone makes you immediately reach for your phone, that's addiction to external validation, not connection. Schedule monk mode. 1 day per week, complete social silence. No texts, no calls. Just you and the work. In that space, you'll hear what you've been drowning out. Ghost mode challenge. Tell no one where you are for 24 hours. Turn off location. Don't post. Just exist. If you're weaponizing solitude, comment, "I build in the void." If this is rewiring how you see people and power, hit that like button. Most people will watch this and change nothing. You're not most people. Keep going. Number 5. Perception management beats reality. Here's the brutal truth. They don't teach you in school. Reality doesn't matter. Perception does. You can be the smartest person in the room, the hardest worker, the most qualified candidate. If people perceive you as weak, uncertain, or desperate, that's what you are in the social hierarchy. Machiavelli understood that appearing virtuous was more useful than being virtuous. Not because virtue is worthless, but because people judge the appearance, not the substance. You think authenticity means showing everything. Every struggle, every doubt, every vulnerability. That's not authenticity, that's strategic suicide. 2 people apply for the same job, same credentials. Person A is honest in the interview. "I'm really hoping to get this. I need the income." Person B controls the frame. "I'm exploring opportunities where I can add significant value." Same situation, different perception, different outcome. Or dating. The person who admits they're lonely and desperate, instant low value. The person who seems content alone but open to connection, high value. Same internal state, different presentation. Humans make snap judgments based on surface signals. Confidence, posture, vocal tone, eye contact. These override logic. You could be lying, but if you look certain, they'll believe you over the truth teller who looks nervous. Status communication. We're tribal animals scanning for alpha signals. Uncertain people threaten group survival, so we instinctively demote them. Notice who gets taken seriously in meetings. It's not always the person with the best ideas. It's the person who presents with the most certainty. Control your presentation layer. Stand straight. Speak slower. Use fewer words. End statements with periods, not question marks. Make eye contact 1 second longer than comfortable. Record yourself speaking. Watch without sound. Do you look confident or anxious? Fix your body language before you worry about your message. If you're becoming perception aware, drop "I architect impressions." These laws repeat across centuries because human nature doesn't change. Machiavelli saw it in Renaissance Italy. Marcus Aurelius saw it in Rome. Robert Greene documented it across 4,000 years of history. Understanding dark intelligence doesn't make you evil, it makes you effective. Nietzsche separated good from good for. Something can be morally neutral but strategically powerful. The Stoics taught that virtue without wisdom is useless. Wisdom without action is cowardice. These 5 laws are your wisdom. What you do with them reveals your character. Use them to protect yourself, elevate your position, and build something that matters. Not to manipulate for cruelty, but to move through a world that will manipulate you if you stay naive. If you want more frameworks like this, subscribe. We're decoding the hidden psychology of power every week. And drop a comment. Which law hit hardest? What changes today? You came here thinking the game was unfair. It is. But now you have the map. The real question isn't whether the game exists. It's whether you'll play it consciously or unconsciously. Because you're already in it. You've always been in it. Every conversation is a negotiation. Every silence is a statement. Every choice is a signal. The only difference between you and the people who control the room is they know this. Now you know it too. Welcome to Dark Intelligence. The version of you that understands these laws is dangerous. Not to others. To the version of you that didn't.